Hello everyone, welcome back to another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video, and today we're going to be talking about Blue Lillia. So it's been confirmed that Blue Lillia is coming to the game in this upcoming week's update, and we're going to be going over some of the things that make Blue Lillia worth summoning. And this is not a should you summon, it's a must summon video, so let's just jump into it. So one of the big selling points about Blue Lillia is that her passive, so Dark Symphony, increases all allies' pierce rate by 50% of the value of the hero's pierce rate. So what this means is for Blue Demon Meliodas or Hauser or anyone who really has their attack based on their pierce percentage will really benefit from Blue Lillia. And in JP, this then led to the pen team, also known as the pierce rate team, whatever you want to call it, because let's just take a look here. So going all the way to the bottom, her pierce rate you can see is 50% starting off. So that means taking 50% of that means an additional 25% pierce rate will be distributed to all her allies. So this is really good for Blue Demon Meliodas because they always go hand in hand. It's an AoE attack from him and an extra 25% to his pierce. That would just basically mean he's going to be doing a lot more damage. So, but let's not jump ahead of ourselves too much now. But these are her attack card skills. These are her first three. This is an attack. We got a buff here, or actually it's more of a cleanse and heal, and then her AoE ultimate. So some of the strengths is that she's an amazing passive, as we mentioned, for the pen and pierce team. She has some crowd control with her first skill. She's also a healer and a cleanser with her second skill, and her ultimate is an AoE damage. Some weaknesses about this that we may be talking about is that to get these secondary beneficial effects, most of the time you have to have a silver or gold card. So in terms of her attack card, you need to have the silver and gold to get that removal of an ult gauge, and you need the silver and gold here for her second ability to cleanse as well. And one other thing is that you really need some good pierce rolls to be able to get her to shine. So moving on, one big question that everyone's going to ask is how much pierce can she actually give to her allies, and more specifically to Blue Demon Meliodas. So here I broke down the chart and I did some calculations where you have Blue Lillia, just straight Blue Lillia. Base, she starts off at 50%. Once you get her to 80, 6-star, or just 6-star awakened, her pierce rate contribution is an extra 3. And taking a look at all the weapons that she has, that can give you a potential 7%. And if you have perfect substats for pierce, you get an additional 60%. You add all this up, you get 120% pierce rate for Blue Lillia. Taking 50% of that, you get 60%. So 60% is what she theoretically could give to all of her allies for an additional pierce damage. So I think my Blue Demon Meliodas right now is 115%, so an additional 60%, that will put him at 175. So that's an absolutely absurd number because his attack is based off pierce, and 3 times of his, it's just bonkers. So taking a look at Blue Lillia plus food though, so pierce rate food, so same numbers on the right. You got 50% from the base, an extra 3 from 6-star awakened, 7 from the all pierce weapons, perfect pierce substats 60, and if you have a pierce food, that's an extra 20%. So this then brings you to 140% for Blue Lillia, and then that brings it to 70% what she could share. So that's then going to bring it that much more that she can give to Blue Demon Meliodas. So moving on, taking a look at her skill sets, her first attack is called Pathetic. It's quite funny. Basically, it's an AoE damage. It does 180, 180, and 300 depending on the level. So this is bronze, silver, and gold. And at the silver and gold level, she also depletes a ultimate move gauge. So at the silver, you move 1, but at the gold, you move 3. And this is AoE to everybody. So think of Merlin or Hellbrim, but this is AoE. But you gotta make it to level 2 or level 3 to even start seeing some of this secondary beneficial effects. So next is her recovery skill. So this heals HP of all allies equal to 200, 240, and 400% of attack, and removes debuffs at the silver and gold. So she can also heal. She removes the debuffs, so that's really great. And her ultimate, so it's called Starlink. It inflicts damage equal to 350% of attack on all enemies, so it's AoE, decreases skill ranks, then depletes the ultimate move gauge by the number of skill rank decreases. So if your enemy has, say, a silver rank card, this is basically going to bring it down to bronze, and if it brought down only one of them, it also depletes a move gauge as well. So she's just total crowd control. And these are her multipliers, 350 and can go all the way up to 525. I wouldn't say it's not the best, but once again, Blue Lillia is not really here for her attack percentages. She's really here more for the support, with the ultimate move gauge reduction, with the heal, with the removal of debuffs, and basically just giving a whole bunch of additional pierce to Blue Demon Meliodas or anyone that really can use that pierce. So to take a dive into that more, we gotta take a look into her teams, but let's go over her ult. Let's see how this looks. All right. Yeah, it's just summoning. Yeah. Oh my. Oh my. Oh god. So basically some Thanos action. I'm thinking like some Avengers. Whew. Okay, so taking a look at the teams that Blue Lillia can be used upon, these are just some of the ones that I thought about that could be of use. So with Green Escanor on the left, Blue Demon Meliodas in the middle, and Blue Lillia on the right, and Merlin as the fourth in the sub slot, basically what you're doing here is taking advantage of Blue Lillia and then adding her additional pierce to Blue Demon Meliodas, which is always going to be her best friend, with Escanor with also a pretty decent pierce rate, I believe is 100, and he's just a powerhouse, and Merlin with that passive with everyone extra ult gauge, and just really good. If she ever comes in, she can hold her own with ultimate gauge removal and also a perfect cube. So then we have this next one at the bottom. I call it Yin and Yang, and basically you're going to be seeing a lot of Valentis and other potential counters and other Blue Lillia teams. So being able to have Valenti basically cut your opponent's pierce rate, this could be pretty devastating to them if they're not ready for it. And just in case you lose your Blue Demon Meliodas, which is your primary attack dealer, because Blue Lillia is just crowd control, Valenti is also to mitigate damage. If they annihilate your Blue Demon Meliodas, Escanor can then surprise them, come in, and you can have another force to be reckoned with. So that's the concept of this team. And then we're going the last one. I call it the Super Saiyan Pen team. So this, I believe, is the most pen team that you can get. And what I mean is, with the 70% additional to Blue Demon Meliodas, with the additional of Weinhardt's passive, which gets an extra 8% of pierce at the end of every turn, maximum of 5 times, so 5 times 8 is 40, so that's an additional 40% to Blue Demon Meliodas on top of the 70% of pierce from Blue Lillia if you're also using pierce food. So absolutely ridiculous. And if you don't like any of these for the 4 slots, maybe you can use Red Grimoire. He's always really good, increasing HP related stats by 15%. So this is going to give more survivability for your Blue Lillia, your Blue Demon Meliodas, and your Escanor. And also, since it's HP related stats, you're also going to get lifesteal. And with Blue Demon Meliodas being able to do AoE damage and sometimes being hitting really hard if they don't have a Valenti, he can basically recover a full bar of health, no problem whatsoever. So going over and looking at the pen/pierce team with pierce breakdown, I wanted to show you exactly what are the numbers that you're getting with the addition of Blue Lillia. So I already mentioned before, these are her basic numbers, but I'm also accounting for pierce food. So if you look at Escanor and Blue Demon Meliodas, let's look at Blue Demon Meliodas first, because he's really the best friend of Blue Lillia, as I've said before. So you're going to be starting off with 40% of pierce rate. And when you get him to 6-star, you get an additional 4.5%. He has including all of his pierce weapons, if you equip it, that's an extra 12% of pierce. And perfect reroll substats, that's an extra 60. And once again, the pierce food, and then Blue Lillia's passive, you get 206.5% of additional pierce. That's absolutely ridiculous. 206.5% of pierce. So, and you know his first card is times 3 of his Pierce. So that's 636. That's absolutely ridiculous. Actually 237.5, I believe. So this guy is hitting like a truck. He will hit and destroy everything. Absolutely ridiculous. If you look at Escanor, he's no joke too. Starting off with 80% Pierce, extra 4.5 for 6-star. His Pierce weapons, that's an extra 17, and the Pierce food, and the Blue Lillia passive of 70% if this is the fully maxed out version. And I put a dash here for perfect Pierce roll substats because you usually don't want Pierce substats for Escanor. You want it all based off of his attack percentage. So you don't want Pierce on Escanor. But 191.5, that's nothing to laugh about. He's gonna be hitting like a train as well. Blue Lillia, as we showed before, 140% if you're doing this maxed out. So that's how you get 140 divided by 2. You get the 70% that she is going to distribute to everybody. So depending on who dies, and if Green Merlin comes in, if Blue Lillia is still alive, you're going to get that extra 70% onto Green Merlin. So you have to remember, if Blue Lillia ever dies, you lose all that extra passive with the additional 70%. So keep that in mind. So to wrap this up, I just want to give my final thoughts about Blue Lillia, and it should be pretty obvious. If not, I'm going to tell you right now. Summon. Everybody must summon for Blue Lillia. She's absolutely amazing. Just look at her as well. Just look at her. Great original character. She's a versatile unit. She heals, cleanse, and she's Blue Demon Melios's best friend. This Pen and Pierce team is going to be in the meta for a while. It's a little bit tough right now because Valenti is going around, but I believe that you can put a dent and try to push through if you would like. Some things that you have to keep in mind. You need to have high Pierce substat rolls for Blue Lillia because that's how you're really going to maximize her ability. So if you don't have the resources to reroll for SSR gear, I highly suggest you use rare gear. It's a lot easier to reroll for those high Pierce substat rolls. So if not, you can even do uncommon or common, whatever floats your boat and what you can afford. But just note that if you use even lower, like common or uncommon, your overall CC will definitely take a hit on that. So that's why you should definitely do HP defense set because that contributes a lot more to the CC. And once again, she's still top tier support in JP, so definitely keep that in mind that what you're investing in, she's going to be used for a while. And if everything is true with what Netmarble said, it's going to be a step-up banner, so definitely get at least 1 copy. Go through the whole thing, and I think that's 242 diamonds to get 1 copy. And yeah, enjoy, have fun with her, and she's definitely going to be a valid for Final Boss Gauther because he's also coming out with Blue Lillia, so should be really fun, lots of good rewards. And you can check out some videos. I know Sekapoko posted a video on Final Boss Gauther, so check that out. And that's about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. It would really support me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right? Peace.